OpenAI saying it's shutting down its video generation platform, Sora.
OpenAI is planning to shut down its popular video generation app, Sora.
A surprising move from OpenAI, the company announcing it's shutting down Sora.
OpenAI closing Sora was a shock to some, but this was predictable. It's a symptom of a vision that finally outran its resources. There are 3 reasons why this was inevitable, and together they point to OpenAI's downfall. Let's start with one they really don't want to talk about: money. OpenAI is projected to lose $14 billion just this year, and cumulatively from 2025 to 2029, they will lose $115 billion. For context, they're charging $20 a month for ChatGPT. They need over 58 million paying subscribers just to break even. They don't have that. But that's not the gamble they're going for. Instead, OpenAI is going all in on a platform pivot. Internal documents show they're moving away from just being a subscription-based service and moving towards becoming the infrastructure for the entire AI economy. They're launching agents that don't just talk, they buy. We're talking about an AI that takes commission every time it books your flight, orders your groceries, or manages a company's supply chain. They're projecting, speculating, that by 2030, these transaction fees and enterprise contracts will bring in $280 billion a year. To Sam Altman, the $115 billion isn't a loss, it's an entrance fee to own the future of commerce. But they need to limit that spending before they get there. Which brings us back to Sora. Video generation is one of the most expensive AI tasks to run. It requires a great amount of computing ability and storage, while returning a low monetization return. Sora was burning money, and generative video wasn't the path to profit. OpenAI is spending to survive, in hopes it can reach that hopeful profit zone. The problem is, the race isn't over. Which leads us to the next reason. OpenAI built its reputation on one thing: being the first. GPT-4 felt like magic. Everyone said the next model would be even better. But something changed. The improvement curve has flattened, and so have expectations. GPT-4 to GPT-4o, users noticed smaller jumps. The original models, impressive in specific benchmarks, but real-world performance gains, marginal. And that's a problem, because their entire revenue projection relies on being the best. But progress has stagnated. Meanwhile, competition has caught up. DeepSeek came out of nowhere, matching GPT performance at a fraction of the cost. Google's Gemini is being embedded into everything, and Google doesn't have money worries. And Claude from Anthropic is increasingly the models developers are choosing for complex tasks and scripts. OpenAI's response? Keep announcing products. Sora, voice mode, the operator system, delay and pray. But announcing and delivering are 2 different things. Sora was demoed to the world in February 2024. It almost took a year to reach limited access. And then it was gone, because they can't afford it. When your competitors are shipping faster and your models are improving slower, you've got a problem. And some of the people who built those models, they already left. Ilya Sutskever, OpenAI's co-founder and chief scientist, walked out. He wasn't the only one. A wave of senior researchers exited over the past 2 years. When everyone's leaving like that, you don't have a winning team. And then there's a third reason. The one hanging over the entire AI industry, not just OpenAI. OpenAI is being sued by the New York Times, by authors, by musicians, by visual artists. The core argument is simple. OpenAI has trained its models on copyrighted material without permission. OpenAI's defense has essentially been, we needed to, it's transformative, it's fair use. The courts aren't always buying it. The New York Times lawsuit alone could result in damages in the billions. Here's a part that doesn't get talked about enough. If OpenAI loses, or is forced into a large settlement, the entire foundation their models were built on gets called into question. Do they retrain? On what data? At what cost? This isn't a PR problem, this is an existential one. But the courtroom isn't the only place where OpenAI is fighting for its life. Underneath all of this is something even more fundamental. OpenAI is in the middle of an identity crisis. They were founded as a non-profit. The mission? Build safe AI for the benefit of humanity. Now they're trying to convert it for a for-profit structure, and it's getting messy. When a safety-focused nonprofit becomes a profit-driven company, the incentive changes, not in your favor. When OpenAI aligned itself with the US government, sitting in the White House, something shifted. They quietly removed non-military use language from their usage policies. A company founded to protect humanity from dangerous AI was now helping building the infrastructure for it. The backlash was immediate. Over 1.5 million users canceled their subscriptions. ChatGPT uninstalls surged 295%, and Sam Altman later said he regretted how it was handled. But the damage was done. OpenAI is still projecting confidence, but the people who knew it best, they've already voted with their feet. So here's where we are. Sora is dead, not because the technology failed. It's because the company behind it is under enormous pressure, financially, legally, structurally. The money is bleeding out. The models are losing their edge and the lawsuits are mounting. And the people who built this thing are walking out the door. OpenAI isn't gone, not yet. But the version of OpenAI that felt untouchable, that's already over. More projects are soon to follow. And we're watching the first chapter of either the biggest comeback in tech history or the most expensive collapse.